It started with a scream that no one heard. Not over the wind, not over the river, not over the laughter of families who thought they were safe inside the wide, postcard beauty of Great Smoky Mountains National Park. By the time anyone realized a child was missing, the woods had already swallowed him, and something else had already found him. It was late October, that strange time when the mountains look like they are on fire. Orange, gold, and deep red leaves clung to the ridges. Tourists filled the trails near the Sugarlands Visitor Center, snapping photos, living in the illusion that nature is gentle. 7-year-old Noah Harper hated the crowd. He had wandered ahead of his mother near the Laurel Falls Trail, kicking leaves, pretending he was a forest explorer. His older sister Emma had warned him not to go off the path. He rolled his eyes. Children always do. His mother Claire was arguing quietly with Emma about something small, something that would later haunt her because it delayed her by just 2 minutes. 2 minutes. That is how long it took for Noah to see a flash of movement off trail. A small animal, white fur, mud-streaked, a puppy. The puppy looked at him, then bolted into the trees. Noah followed. Claire realized Noah was gone when she turned to hand him a granola bar. There was no scream, no crash, no warning, just absence. Her voice cracked the valley. Noah. Visitors turned. Some assumed it was normal parenting panic. It was not. Park rangers were alerted within 15 minutes. By sunset, search teams from the National Park Service were organizing grid searches. Temperature was dropping fast, low 40s by nightfall. Then someone found something strange. Small paw prints, circling, near a break in the trail where leaves were crushed. And beside them, tiny sneaker prints, leading down toward denser forest, off any marked path. The Smokies change after dark. Mist settles low. Sound travels wrong. Every branch crack feels intentional. Search dogs were deployed. About half a mile from the trail, one of the dogs hesitated, then barked. The handler thought they had found Noah. They had not. They found a small, shivering puppy. White, mud-soaked, ribs visible. The puppy did not run. It growled. Not at the rescuers. At something behind them. Earlier that evening, Noah had fallen. Not far, but far enough. He had slipped down a leaf-covered slope into a shallow ravine and twisted his ankle badly. He tried to climb back up. He could not. The woods grew darker. The temperature dropped. And that puppy, the one he had followed, reappeared. It approached slowly, cautious, trembling. Noah reached out. The puppy flinched, then stepped closer. It was not wild. It was terrified. Like it had been alone for days. Noah cried. The puppy curled against him. The next part is what still confuses rangers, because the paw prints did something unusual. Instead of wandering randomly, they circled Noah repeatedly, tight loops, back and forth, like patrol patterns. When search teams analyzed the area later, they realized something chilling. The puppy's tracks overlapped with larger prints, coyote tracks. The coyotes had approached the ravine, but they never descended fully. The puppy's frantic pacing was not random. It was defensive. Noah drifted in and out of sleep. Every time he woke, the puppy was awake, facing outward, growling softly into the dark. Once Noah heard something howl. The puppy did not run. It pressed closer to him. Back at command, Claire was unraveling. Rangers tried to reassure her. These things often end well, but statistics in national parks are complicated, especially overnight. Helicopters were grounded due to fog. Thermal imaging was limited by dense canopy. One ranger, Daniel Ruiz, noticed something during track analysis. The paw prints keep circling back toward one area. He marked it. The loops were not random. They were concentrated, like something guarding a perimeter. At first light, searchers moved toward that grid. The puppy heard them first. It barked. Loud, sharp, not scared this time, commanding. Noah stirred weakly. Help, the bark repeated. Searchers froze. Did you hear that? They followed the sound downhill. Then they saw it. A small boy curled under fallen branches, and standing over him, a trembling, mud-covered puppy, growling at them, protecting him. One ranger knelt slowly. "It is okay, buddy." The puppy did not trust them. It stood between Noah and the approaching adults, hackles raised, body shaking. That is when Noah whispered, "He is my friend." The puppy looked back at Noah, then stepped aside. Noah had mild hypothermia, a sprained ankle, dehydration, but he was alive. Doctors later said if he had been alone through the night, his body temperature likely would have dropped, dangerously lower. Shared body heat mattered. Movement around him mattered. Coyotes staying away mattered. The puppy mattered. When rangers scanned the puppy for a microchip, later at a local clinic in Gal, they found something unexpected. The puppy had been reported missing 3 days earlier. From a campground nearly 2 miles away, its name was Ranger. A family had lost him during a thunderstorm. They had searched. They assumed he had not survived. Ranger had been wandering alone in predator-heavy forest, scared, hungry, cold, and somehow, instead of hiding, he followed a boy and stayed. Weeks later, Daniel Ruiz revisited the site. Coyotes had been active in that area. Scat and tracks confirmed it. Experts later said something remarkable. Small dogs usually avoid confrontation. They do not patrol. They do not guard, unless bonded or desperate. Ranger was not bonded to Noah. He had no reason to defend him, unless he understood something simple. 2 small creatures alone in a vast forest, and staying together increased survival. Claire visited Ranger's family. She knelt down and hugged that shaking puppy. "You saved my son." Ranger wagged his tail nervously, still timid, still easily startled. But when Noah entered the room, Ranger ran to him. Remember the beginning, the scream no one heard, the 2-minute distraction, the small decision to follow a flash of white fur. It could have been a tragedy. Instead, it became something else. Search reports later described it clinically. Lost minor located in ravine area, accompanied by stray canine exhibiting protective behavior. But that is not what happened. What happened was this. A scared puppy lost himself, chose not to run. He chose to stand. He chose to guard. And in doing so, he changed the ending. Why the coyotes stayed back, no one can say for sure. Maybe it was noise, maybe movement, maybe something deeper, wired into instinct. But rangers still mention it quietly during training sessions. Sometimes the smallest thing in the woods becomes the strongest. 1 year later, Noah and his family returned to Great Smoky Mountains National Park. With permission? With Ranger. They stood near the Laurel Falls Trail entrance. Tourists passed. Leaves fell. The forest looked peaceful again. But Claire held Noah's hand tighter this time. And Ranger never left his side, not even once. Because nature is unpredictable. Mistakes happen fast. But sometimes the thing you think led someone into danger is the very thing that kept them alive. And somewhere in the Smoky Mountains, rangers still remember the night they found a scared puppy guarding a lost child in the dark and winning.